Vaccine confusion.
It's like, as we've said, asking firefighters to pay for their own protective equipment.
Who will have to pay for COVID shots this year? Taking a stand for a better deal. Air Canada flight attendants protest for higher wages. And 100 years of Oscar Peterson. The Juno Award winner helps celebrate a Canadian jazz legend.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Camilla Di Giuseppe.
Good afternoon. You can now pre-order your flu and COVID vaccines, but the province still hasn't decided how much it will cost most Albertans to get their COVID shot. Eligible Albertans will be able to register for a dose. The next step would be to book an appointment at a health clinic. The 4-phase approach will see residents in seniors, supportive living, and home care receive a vaccine for free. The second phase will open provincially funded COVID-19 vaccines to people with underlying medical conditions or compromised immune systems, or to those who are most vulnerable. In the third and fourth phases, all other Albertans, starting with those 65 years of age or older, will be able to purchase a vaccine. Tyson Fedora is live at the South Calgary Health Centre. And Tyson, there's criticism about this vaccine rollout.
Ian, many health advocates we spoke with say that this is creating barriers for many here in Alberta when it comes to actually getting one of these vaccines for public health care workers along with residents here in Alberta. Not just necessarily where the vaccines are going to be made available, but it's slapping that additional cost on for anyone who does want to protect themselves further. The province estimating more than $100 per vaccine. Now, Alberta's Federation of Labour says there are too many barriers with this new rollout, including preventing pharmacies from administering the COVID shot. The province purchased about 500,000 doses for this year's rollout, a decrease from the 700,000 administered just last year. One of Alberta's former chief medical officers of health says if he was advising the province on this policy, he would actually resign, saying it would add a burden to the hospitals and creates health inequity.
They're the only province that's going to require healthcare workers, the people who put their lives in the line to take care of those people who are infected, are going to be required to pay for their own vaccine. So it's like, as we've said, asking firefighters to pay for their own protective equipment.
The province says that it needs to know exactly how many vaccines are needed. It's important to do so to eliminate waste and potential costs that would be under their control. Last year, or I should say over the last 3 years, the province says that nearly $200 million was wasted when it came to these COVID-19 vaccines. Now, if you do plan to pre-book your influenza and COVID-19 vaccines, you can do so until September the 30th. The province does say if you miss that deadline, don't worry, you can still book an appointment in October when those vaccines do become available. Ian?
Tyson, thanks very much. The federal government wants to give severely handicapped Canadians an extra $200 a month. But no one in Alberta will see the benefit because the province has said it will claw it back. The government says recipients still have to apply for the federal benefits. It wants to see proof recipients have started that application process by September 5th. That means they must have filed their 2024 tax return and taken steps toward completing the federal benefit assessment by that date. Rick Overwater has been an AISH recipient since being diagnosed with Cushing disease and having faced 2 separate diagnoses of brain cancer. He says the process feels like the province is bullying the people least able to fight back.
You've got somebody in a position of power that sees an income source that they don't have legal access to, going to the people that do have access to it and demanding that those people get that money and hand it over or suffer retribution for not doing so. That to me is a textbook case of extortion.
In a written statement to CTV, the province says Alberta offers higher disability benefits than any other province and will continue to even after clawing back the federal benefit. A Calgary couple in hospital since a serious crash last month are making progress in their recovery. Their family sharing this recent photo of Taylor and Jonathan Ramutar, who now get to visit each other every other day. On July 21st, the couple's vehicle was hit head-on by the driver of a pickup, moments after a pedestrian in her 50s was hit and killed by the same truck. Taylor and Jonathan suffered multiple broken bones and internal injuries. Jonathan was recently able to stand, while Taylor may soon be moving to a rehab facility. Charges are still pending against the pickup truck driver. Police say they're investigating a road rage incident which led to a person being assaulted with a weapon. It happened just before 9 this morning on Martin Valley Way in the Northeast. The victim is in stable condition. One person is in custody. Days ahead of a potential strike, Air Canada flight attendants picketed at 4 major airports, including Calgary today. Alicia Fielberg joins us from the Calgary International Airport. So, Alicia, what are they asking for?
Well, Ian, pay is the issue. They say that entry-level flight attendants at Air Canada make less than $24,000 a year, and all of the flight attendants do several hours a week of unpaid work. So today in Calgary, flight attendants walked off the job at the same time as their counterparts in Vancouver, Montreal, and Toronto. A contract talks with the airlines started at the beginning of the year, and workers have now voted almost unanimously to strike if there isn't a deal soon. An Air Canada statement says it is determined to reach a fair and equitable collective agreement that recognizes the contributions of its flight attendants and supports the competitiveness and long-term growth of the company. Along with higher wages, the flight attendants want to be paid for all of their work. Right now, they're only compensated for the time the plane is in the air, not the time they're organizing guests and equipment and doing other things. Now, one expert says that their wages are supposed to offset those unrecognized hours, but airlines have lagged behind inflation. Also, some airlines in the United States have started paying for pre- and post-flight work.
You know, Air Canada is a canary in a coal mine in this one. They're the first guys out, and we'll see how well CUPE manages the Air Canada negotiators over the next few days.
Now, the bargaining is continuing, so this isn't affecting any flights right now, but a strike could happen as early as this weekend. There would be at least 72 hours notice, however. Ian?
Alicia, thank you. Calgary is urging the federal government to put major rail projects on the short list for its Building Canada Act. Calgary is part of a pair of proposals, including an inland port southeast of the city and a train linking the airport to Banff. The mayors of Calgary, Canmore, Cochrane and Banff signed a letter to the Prime Minister to push for a passenger train service through the Bow Valley. They call it a transformational initiative. Calgary is also looking for support for a multi-billion-dollar prairie economic gateway. It would be an industrial and manufacturing hub built along a railway corridor to send goods throughout North America.
The West has been forgotten and ignored for far too long, and it is critical that we demonstrate what kind of projects we are ready to move on. We are able to move people if we get the passenger rail. We are able to move goods with Prairie Economic Gateway.
The Premier has been pushing for a pipeline east and west to be fast-tracked by Ottawa. The feds are considering major infrastructure projects to be streamlined, but there's no word on a timeline for when they will be picked. Danielle joins us now with a first look at the weather. Good to see you.
Thank you. Nice to be back. And I get to talk about sunshine and heat.
I like it. Yeah.
It's been a while since we had not just summer heat, but also with it coming with lots of sunshine and a stable day and no rain. What? We had a little rain in parts of Calgary this morning, but this ridge of high pressure is building in, so it's pushing all of that off to the east, to the north, and that's what's going to give us a whole lot of sunshine for tomorrow. So it will be a hot one tomorrow. Today we were a couple degrees below normal, but we still got into those 20s. It's 21 at the airport right now. This is your 24-hour forecast brought to you by Fifth Avenue Volkswagen, where you can win your ride. See dealer for details or visit fifthavvw.com. And look at that, 28 degrees with the humidity, likely feeling like 30 out there tomorrow with a whole lot of sunshine. More details coming up.
Thanks, Danielle. Health experts are keeping a close eye on measles cases in Alberta. Still ahead, an update on cases and where they're rising in the province. And a man suffers serious burns to half his body after an explosion in a hotel room in Calgary. No one was injured when fire broke out in a duplex in northeast Calgary. Firefighters arrived around 1:30 at Falworth Court Northeast. They say everyone in the duplex had made it out safely, but there was heavy smoke and visible flames coming from the home. They worked quickly to keep the fire from spreading.
And they rapidly deploy hose lines, made entry. It's a duplex home, so as they're knocking out the fire, they did have to put out some fire in the neighboring home just to make sure it didn't spread before making entry, and then able to knock down the fire.
There was some heat damage to a neighboring home. The investigation into how the fire started is underway. The investigation continues into the cause of an explosion and fire last night. The Calgary Fire Department says a man was taken to hospital with third-degree burns to 50% of his body. Just after 8, there was a small explosion and fire on the 5th floor of the Emerald Hotel and Suites on Sunridge Boulevard. Damage was limited to one room. A dog was also injured and was taken to an emergency vet clinic. A fire broke out in an abandoned building around 3:30 this morning when fire crews were called to 17th Avenue in the southwest. When they arrived, they found light smoke and could see a small fire inside. There's no structural damage. No word yet on what sparked the fire. So, Danielle, I've been hearing a number of comments about how rainy the summer has been, but that will turn the corner a little bit later on this week, right?
Yes, for a day or so. And then when rain is back, but not as intense as it was. We're looking at a little more dryness this week in comparison to all of July and much of August. It's been a wet summer. Okay, here's your Skywatch weather camera for you. We've had some cloud cover out there. We've had some sunny breaks out there, and temperatures, well, they're starting to climb. We're below normal at this point. Normal daytime high for Calgary is 23 degrees. We got to 21 today. We've been at 21 since noon today. Winds, for the most part, are relatively calm. They will be fully calm tomorrow. This ridge of high pressure is building in, so that will give us a lot of sunshine, and it will allow the temperature to build here for tomorrow. When you look at temperatures overall throughout the province, we're mainly looking at those low and even somewhat mid-20s. It's 24 in Brooks, 25 in Medicine Hat, and then in Calgary, again, we're just at 21. So it's warmer in Banff at 24. We'll get close to that 30-degree mark in Calgary for tomorrow, and in fact, it will feel like 30 with the humidity. So it's a hot one on tap. It will feel like summer tomorrow, if you like that, and you've been waiting for that. Ridge of high pressure really starting to build in. We did have some showers earlier today, but you can see this is now just clearing out. It's going to follow along that jet stream, which is shifting off and shifting up, and that's going to give us the sunshine, some heat. And outside of that, we're looking at a really nice summer day for tomorrow. So here's that ridge of high pressure. It will continue to build in for tomorrow. We're going to lose this, though, on Wednesday. So Wednesday, this opens us up to especially those late day showers and thunderstorms possible, and it will get quite gusty on Wednesday as well. The far south, Lethbridge over to Medicine Hat, will hold on to the heat for an extra day. So for them, they're looking at heat and stability on Wednesday, but for us here in Calgary, we are looking at well, maybe some heat will continue to last. I'll show you that in the long range in just a second here, but basically we're looking at that instability. Okay, for today, the rest of today, just some cloudy periods at times like what you've seen today. Tomorrow, all sunshine for the city. We may see clouds come Wednesday at times, but Wednesday is when this pattern starts to shift down, and we're going to start to see some of this activity move on in. So Wednesday morning, mainly for central Alberta and up to Olds. You could see that in the morning hours, and then by the afternoon hours, this will creep down the QE2 and into Calgary as well. We're looking at showers possible, rain heavy at times also possible, and even isolated thunderstorms is what we could get from this too. So late Wednesday is an active one. Likely in Calgary alone, we could pick up about 3 to 5 millimeters of rain from this. And as you can see, because we won't get as much sunshine, the temperature will not be as warm either. So tomorrow will be a hot one, 28 degrees, feeling more like 30 with the humidity and a whole lot of sunshine and calm winds. So beautiful day. By Wednesday, the winds are going to start to pick up. It will be a gusty, and then especially after 3 in the afternoon, we get into the chance of showers and thunderstorm activity and just a high of 21. We don't even get back into the 20s as we drop Thursday. We get back into the 20s for Friday, and by then we also have a small chance of showers. The key thing is that tomorrow will be the hottest day of the next 10 days.
The number of measles cases in Alberta is still growing, but the rate appears to be slowing. 9 new cases were confirmed over the weekend, 7 in the north zone, 2 in the south. There have been over 1,700 measles cases since the outbreak began in March. The best protection against the highly infectious disease is 2 doses of the MMR vaccine. When it comes to jazz piano, Canada's Oscar Peterson was one of the all-time greats. Still to come, Peterson would have turned 100 this week. We'll meet one of his former students who's paying tribute to him. Investors are keeping a close eye on inflation numbers from the U.S. Joining me is Dave Popowich, portfolio manager with the Popowich-Carmeli Advisory Group. And Dave, those inflation stats are coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to get 2 sets. Good afternoon, Ian. We're going to get 2 sets of U.S. inflation data that the market's going to be interested in. Tomorrow, we'll start with the CPI. That's the consumer inflation data. Probably market's most interested in that. Now, keep in mind that the market is pricing that the U.S. Fed is going to, a high probability, cut interest rates by 1/4 percentage point at the September meeting. Well, the data that we're going to get this week is going to start to capture some of the post-tariff inventories that businesses have had. They've likely sold off most of the inventory that they bought prior to the tariffs coming into effect. And so now they're in a position where they're importing product that has tariffs on them, and they have to make a decision about whether or not they're going to eat that cost as a business or they're going to pass some or all of it on to consumers. And of course, if they do pass it on to consumers, then we're going to start to see that showing up in the inflation data, and that could be as early as this month. So we are expecting to see inflation perhaps tick a little bit higher, but it might be consequential in terms of what the market expects the next move will be for the U.S. Fed. So tomorrow will be an important day.
And tariffs on, tariffs off, yet another delay from Donald Trump.
Well, I was commenting this morning that Asian markets had a pretty good day. If you look at U.S. markets down today, pretty flat on Canadian markets, but the Asian markets did finish in soundly positive territory. And, you know, I commented that tomorrow was going to be the day that the 90-day reprieve ended for the Chinese tariffs, and it would have, you know, kicked back into those big triple digits. Well, given that the markets were trading in positive territory, it either meant a deal was coming or that there was going to be another delay on their way to getting a deal. And of course, we did get the announcement that Trump has delayed for another 90 days those big tariffs against China, and that should be positive for Asian markets, I think.
Dave, thanks for the update.
Bye, Ian.
More Canadians are deciding to stay at home or travel overseas rather than fly to the United States. Numbers from Statistics Canada showed July had the biggest decline in travel to the U.S. yet, down nearly 26% compared to the same month last year. U.S. travel from Alberta dropped almost as much, with 21% fewer trips from the airports in Calgary and Edmonton. Meantime, 1.4 million foreign travelers visited Canada in July. That includes a 5% increase in overseas travelers and a 0.7% increase in American travelers. Albertans can now pre-order their flu and COVID vaccines. Here's Tara Nelson with a look ahead to CTV News at 6.
Hi, Ian. The provincial portal opened today, and pre-orders will be accepted until September 30th. The province still hasn't revealed how much COVID shots will cost or the limited locations they'll be administered. Coming up at 6, why Alberta's Federation of Labor is calling on the province to change its plans. Also ahead, labor strife continues at Air Canada, with flight attendants in a position to strike as early as this weekend. We'll have reaction from passengers at Calgary's airport tonight. We'll see you at 6. Ian.
Thanks, Tara. There was no one like Oscar Peterson. The Canadian who passed away in 2007 was one of the greatest jazz pianists of all time. And now the National Music Centre is paying tribute to him 100 years after he was born. Joining me is Juno Award winner Andy Milne, who studied piano under Oscar Peterson and performs Friday on what would have been Peterson's 100th birthday. Andy, great to chat with you.
Nice to be here, Ian.
So what do you remember most about Oscar Peterson?
Well, if you're asking me specifically about my personal interaction with him, then it was really just the lessons that kind of still stick with me in terms of almost like a Zen-like approach to sort of telling me how to become a better artist and learn the music more effectively, and also just watching him at the piano was pretty mind-blowing, you know, both up close and personal, but also, you know, as a fan, as a student of his music long before and after we had direct communication. But I think he's really the person I'm responsible for, kind of why I play. In the truth of it.
We heard that little clip of him there. In terms of his sheer skill level, was he intimidating?
Oh, very much so. Yeah. I mean, I think he wasn't intimidating as a person to sort of be a mentor, but not in any kind of overt, direct way that he would have sort of tried to intimidate as a teacher. But certainly his towering presence in the music and just listening to his recordings, it's especially as a young person, you're trying to decode what's there.
Andy Milne performs Friday night at the National Music Centre. To see my extended interview with him, visit ctvnews.ca/Calgary. The sunshine returns for most of the week this week. Right now in the city, it is 21 degrees, mostly cloudy. Danielle has details just ahead. You know, some people get the opportunity to golf on a Tuesday.
Oh, right.
And if they do, they're lucky this Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. Take it all in on the golf course, the sunshine. And guess what? You cannot blame anything on the winds if you don't do a good drive.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. Because it won't be windy tomorrow, and it will be summer tomorrow. 21 degrees at the airport and downtown and in Strathmore as well. Get your daily dose of greens at Serenity Golf Club, just 20 minutes east of the city. And look at that, 28 degrees, feeling more like 30 with the humidity tomorrow, and nothing but sun. Now Wednesday starts off mainly sunny, but we'll get some thunderstorm activity or at least showers later in the day, and a high of 21. Ian?
Thanks very much, Danielle. The Perseid meteor shower is set to put on a spectacular show this week. Known as the best summer meteor shower, it will be at its peak tomorrow and Wednesday evening. It's best viewed where there's as little light pollution as possible. The event is expected to draw big crowds at Elk Island National Park near Edmonton. Officials are warning visitors to have a backup plan. Once the park reaches capacity, people will be turned away. Thanks very much for joining us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.